It is Tuesday, Parsha Shlach Lechuchuf Dalet 7 Tufshim Pai Vov, June 9th, 2026. My name is Gershy Schwarcz, and I'm your host with the news of the last 24 hours on Edge.
Your daily report of the news of the last 24 hours, powered by Yiddish24, provided to you by The Click.
The President of the United States, President Donald J. Trump, is saying that it was Iran that shut down the Apache U.S. Marine helicopter over the Strait of Hormuz, and that America, quote, must respond, he said. Now this, Iranian Parliament Speaker Galibaf, in a message to Trump, says, "We prefer the language of diplomacy, but we speak other languages far more fluently. Break your commitments and we will switch to what we speak best. You ride the horse you saddled." You heard it from the man himself. Trump told Netanyahu yesterday that if he doesn't want to fight the war alone, he should stop attacking Iran and especially Hezbollah, which they're obviously an ongoing war right now there. Trump said he expects, quote, total victory with his peace talks, which is supposed to happen with Iran in 2 weeks, he says. At the same time, Washington just reported that they've received a proposal from Iran, a new proposal, which seems satisfying, and some say 15 years of no enrichment. Netanyahu, obviously, is facing political pressure at home, especially from United Torah Judaism chairman Yitzhak Goldknopf. That's besides the pressures that he's receiving from home to ignore America and attack on their own rights. And researchers at Penn State said that not all screen time is bad, but it's very bad. And they've only found this out through a study lately, I guess. You know, we'll talk about it later on Edge. But before we do that, let's talk about something else. You know that your lifestyle can change and can become better if you're struggling, obviously, talking to those who struggle with it. Kosher Skinny Shot. Tried and proven. 845-456-8924. Again, the number is 845-456-8924. You can enter a free giveaway by calling my number at 845-671-1775. Press 5. Tell me your name, your phone number, and Kosher Skinny Shot on Edge, and you will enter to win a free month on Kosher Skinny Shot. Worth a try. Worth a try. Many have entered already, and the goal is happening. I don't yet know exactly when, but sometime at the end of next week, I guess. A Hezbollah terrorist entered the northern Israeli border today, armed with a gun and a knife. He entered Israel. He opened fire at military troops right there by the border. The soldiers fired back and killed the attacker. No soldiers were hurt in the shooting. The military says the terrorist was wearing a Hezbollah uniform. You know, the yellow bandana, all that. And managed to cross into the Ramim Ridge border. The shooting happened just minutes away from civilian homes, and local highways obviously remained closed. Because of the situation, residents were ordered to stay locked inside their houses. The military searched the area by ground and by air for hours. In the end, it was one terrorist only, and no second infiltrator was found, and the all clear was given. President Donald J. Trump gave Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday an ultimatum. In a direct warning, he said, "Either stop attacking Iran or you will lose support from America." Sure, Iran attacked first, but Trump is more focused on continuing the peace talks. Trump's message was blunt. If Israel keeps attacking the terrorists, America will stop standing behind them. So, Netanyahu obviously called off Israel's massive attack. Now, this stopped the ceasefire from turning into an all-out war, since Iran also agreed to a pause. Trump later told an interviewer on NBC that Netanyahu did not go against his orders. In fact, everything is working out very, very well, according to him. Because of this pause, Israel's Home Front Command removed almost all rules that kept people at home and in the bunkers. School and work resumed as normal again. Unfortunately, attacks continued from other places, obviously, mainly because the terror groups like Hezbollah or the Houthis do not agree with any military pause. Warning sirens went off in the north for Hezbollah drones, and sirens also went off in the south for Houthi suicide drones as well. Drones from both sides. And they were heading towards Eilat, the Red Sea coast. Israeli air defenses shot down most of them, most of the drones, obviously, and said that the fighting against Hezbollah will continue in Lebanon. And so, Israel attacked southern Lebanon today with mites around the Nabatea area and Tzur. Before the strikes, Israel ordered people to leave. Like they always do, they warned them in advance by phone, text messages, and leaflets. The way it always does, like I said, Israel claims it was hitting Hezbollah weapons sites, command centers, and that Hezbollah has now broken the ceasefire more than 1,900 times. Just today, Hezbollah fired 3 rockets at Israeli soldiers inside of Lebanon. Defense Minister Israel Katz was blunt. The army will keep going after Hezbollah and, quote, Dahya and Beirut will be treated the same as the northern communities. Lebanon's health ministry says 14 people were killed, including Red Cross medics, a woman and 2 children. Now, those numbers are from the Lebanese health ministry and do not have any evidence if the Red Cross medics were not Hezbollah disguised, well, like medics. We have once reported here on Edge that Hezbollah often does this, where they disguise themselves as medics and use Red Cross ambulances and vehicles to confuse or to try and confuse the Israelis, or create this very piece of news for the world as propaganda. Israelis were warning people to get out. So the question Lebanon won't answer is why they were still there. As you know, Hezbollah is a terror group operating in Lebanon. Lebanon's President Aoun says he'll only agree to a peace deal with Israel, where both sides stop attacking each other completely. But Israel isn't interested. They're not interested in making any deals because Defense Minister Israel Katz said the IDF will continue to operate in Lebanon against the terrorist organization Hezbollah. We obviously have nothing with Lebanon, but we want to get rid of Hezbollah. If you can't do it, we will do that for you. Israel is also not exiting its fights in Gaza. Well, they struck Hamas naval police today, their headquarters and weapons warehouses in Gaza. They also killed 3 senior members of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, the PIJ. It's a terrorist organization inside Gaza as well. Besides Hamas, I guess they have other names now. With an airstrike. This included engineering heads Mohammed Atiyah Hassan, Abu Afish, and Farhat Zuhair, Farhat Al-Hara, as well as a missile specialist, somebody who makes missiles, Abdallah Allah Riyad Masood. Oh, he has another name. Kadouam. Who cares? Like, yesterday I heard someone reading the Megillah, by the way. Not a joke. These names are a little bit easier. And the 3 were involved. They're Persians, baby, that's why. The 3 were involved, not saying that Persians have easier names, but Khamenei is just easier to say than Qassam al-Bagungar al-Riyad Ad. The 3 were involved in rebuilding the group's military abilities and planning attacks against Israeli forces. I'm not saying, I know many people have difficult names that they can't pronounce. It's not saying that it's a bad thing. Just can't pronounce the names as well as they could. Be nice if I could. Be nice. Now to the Strait of Hormuz. A U.S. Army Apache helicopter went down last night off the coast of Oman. Looks like it happened last night. 2 pilots ended up in the water. And here is the part that sounds like out of a science fiction. A book. An unmanned drone boat found them and pulled them out of the water. Both safe, no injuries. At first, nobody was sure what happened exactly, but now President Trump says it was Iran. He wrote, quote, on Truth Social, last night the Iranians shot down one of our highly sophisticated Apache helicopters over the Strait of Hormuz. Both pilots are safe. Nevertheless, the United States must respond to this attack. Iran isn't really admitting it. Their foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, says they prefer diplomacy, but they are ready to fight if they have to. They know other languages, like you heard. They also claimed any foreign aircraft near the Strait of Hormuz is taking its chances. He claimed the Strait of Hormuz is under international law, he says, Oman and obviously the IRGC. He didn't say that, but he said Iran. So we have the rights to decide who goes through that strait, which is miles away from America. He's right on one hand, but he's wrong on the other. I'll let you make that cheshbon. You already heard Galibaf's statement at the very beginning of the news, so you know what I'm talking about. Going to the negotiations between Iran and the US, Trump said that he will secure a deal within 2 weeks. Trump said, quote, we're negotiating now, and they want to make a very good deal. They're willing to give us everything. They're willing to give us no nuclear weapon, basically, deal. I think we're winning that battle, but you're really going to win, he says, over the next 2 weeks when we declare total victory. It will be in his words, it will be a total victory. It'll happen very soon and oil prices will come tumbling down. This is something that Netanyahu also wants, he says. Though this might be a major success for America, Vice President J.D. Vance says Israel may not like the long-term deal. Netanyahu has not responded to Vance's opinion, but he did warn that Israel will attack Iran again if necessary, and they said that they're ready more than ever. And they think this is going to return to the table, back and forth again. They don't think it's going to be a deal there where it's finished forever. They think they're going to have to come back again to this table. And he explained that the Jewish state alone decides how to protect itself. That's what he says in his words. The Iran top official, Ibrahim Azizi, says that Tehran will talk about a deal if they see American behavior change. But chief negotiator Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf stated Iran has no trust in the US. They do not even want a normal friendship with the Americans. Their death to America and death to Israel still singing loud on the top of the top volume there in Tehran, so I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Now, there is another problem. Iran is trying to use their connection with Hezbollah to control Lebanon. They even said that the peace talks should include Lebanon, or it's going to be a no deal. Unfortunately, Hezbollah do not want to be controlled, and they keep attacking. Israel's worry is simple. If America lets Iran tie Lebanon into the deal, it's the same as admitting Iran controls Lebanon. So, talks have started in Cairo to continue working on an unstable ceasefire. You guessed it. Yes, I know. In Gaza. Well, let's move over to another war that is kind of on the brinks of breaking apart right now. Mediators from Egypt, Qatar and Turkey are meeting with different Palestinian groups. They're trying to reach an agreement for the second part of a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas, the Hamas terrorists, which are all at the table right now.
كافة مقررات المرحلة الأولى مع تحمل كافة الأطراف لمسؤولياتها بشكل يسهم في الوصول إلى الهدوء المستمر.
You can see Khalil there and the Hamas people, the big Hamas people sitting around that table. And it's unreal to know that exactly at that point, they're committing other acts of terrorism and allowing the terrorists to regroup and, plan for another attack, just like Abbas Araghchi told them to go strong and unite against the Israeli regime. And these talks are happening as fighting continues, obviously, like I said, despite the basic truce that has been in place since October. Okay. A ballistic missile fired by the Houthi terrorists failed mid-flight and crashed in Saudi Arabia. It landed in an empty area near the Saudi-Yemeni border and nobody was hurt, they say. Investigations now show the missile was actually aimed at another country in the region. The Saudi government also cleared up false rumors that the missile was targeting one of their own air bases, the Prince Suleiman air bases. We spoke about it yesterday. Alright, before we move forward with the next part, let me tell you about kosher skinny shot. Staying healthy can be challenging, especially when life gets busy. That's why many people look for simple solutions to fit into their daily routine. Well, option number 1 is kosher skinny shot. Option number 2 is option number 1. It's designed to support healthier eating habits. It helps make the journey towards better health easy and more manageable. Call them today. Ask them. They'll guide you through every step of the way. 845-456-8924. And again, the number is, if you want to write it down, 845-456-8924. Leave your name and number, and obviously tell them On Edge sent you. And we are giving away a free month to one lucky person who wins, basically. In order to enter, you call me on 845-671-1775. You press 5, tell me your name and telephone number, say kosher skinny shot On Edge, for me to know that you want to enter that giveaway, and you might be the lucky winner of a free month with kosher skinny shot. The Knesset is holding a second day of hearings for Likud MK Tali Gottlieb. Now they want to file criminal charges against Gottlieb for revealing the identity of a secret Shin Bet officer. Gottlieb revealed the officer's name online in 2024. She also claimed that the officer was connected to Hamas terrorists and the October 7th attacks. Gottlieb admits she exposed his identity, but argues she was right to do so. An attorney general said that it is a crime to expose a secret agent, no matter what the proof you have, even if he did work with Hamas, close with Hamas. We'll find out more about it when we know more. Israeli National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir is being investigated in Rome and in Italy. The case involves claims of torture and kidnapping. The claim comes from arrested protesters from the Sumut flotilla that was a group of ships that tried to sail to Gaza. A legal official confirmed the police case has now been open for several weeks. It began because of a social media video from last month where you see the videos claimed to show bad treatment of the protesters. They didn't mention any of the videos that happened in the airport afterwards to the protesters who came home, who were beaten up by the police in Spain and as well in, I don't remember the other place. Lawyers and international law experts previously sent similar complaints. They sent them to the International Criminal Court in The Hague. Now, Ben-Gvir responded to the police case, stated that it will not be stopped by people he called lying. It will not be stopped by people he called lying terror supporters, obviously. United Torah Judaism chairman Yitzchak Goldknopf met privately with Benjamin Netanyahu. Senior Gera Hasidim, Asken, Moti, Babchik also attended. The meeting happened even though they had public bad feelings between them for months. The talks were kept quiet. Netanyahu was trying to fix his relationship with the Haredi parties. However, members of the Degel HaTorah recently refused a request to meet with him. This was because of the ongoing argument of the Gzeres Hagias. The Haredi parties are moving forward with a new proposed law regarding Gzeres Hagias. Shas party leader Aryeh Deri demanded that the proposed law be pushed forward very quickly. It is expected to be brought to the Knesset for the first time in a first vote this week. The law is to treat, basically, yeshiva bochurim as a service just as much as the army is a service. Turning to the yeshiva world, Rav Chaim Berman was put in hospital in very bad condition with a lung infection yesterday. Rav Chaim Berman Shlita, at 86 years old, he is the oldest Talmud of the Panacheva Yeshiva Bnei Brak. For decades, Harav Berman Shlita has kept a fixed seat in the main hall of the yeshiva. After his health got worse, Rosh Yeshiva Harav Pavarsky Shlita sent a letter. He asked the public to daven for his recovery. Today, his health condition became a little bit dangerous, and Rosh Yeshiva Rabbi David Levi stopped the regular learning time and the regular Zdurim, and he led a special Atzeres Tefillah, Atzeres Tehillim gathering in the main Besmedrash of the yeshiva. The public is asked, obviously, to say Tehillim for Chaim ben Resha Reisel. May he have a complete recovery. So daven for Rav Chaim Berman. May he have a speedy recovery in Rafir Shalayim. Okay. Turning to the yeshiva world, I remember something that I grew up with. And this is something that I cannot forget, because tonight marks the Yutzat, Chuf Hai Sivan, the Yutzat of the most famous Chazan in history. This is unbelievable. It's amazing this, because, around the world, he's known as the king of Chazunim, the Melech of Chazunim. The Melech of Chazunim. You hear me now? Okay, very good. He began singing as a young child in Ukraine before moving to America. In New York, he became the chief Chazan at the Oyev Tzedek Shul, where thousands of Yidden came just to hear him daven. His fame grew so large that major opera companies offered him fortunes of money to sing on their stages. The legendary Chazan rejected every single offer because he wanted to keep his holy voice for the holy Ummah. His father, Rabbi Refuel Shulam Rosenblatt, was also a dedicated Rizhin Chusid and a wine merchant who also served as a Shliach Tzibah himself. Yosel Azaychet Tzadik HaKudosh Levrucha was a tzaddik of a Chazan. He was the first boy born into the family after 9 older sisters. His father recognized his brilliant talent, his brilliant musical gift when Yosel was just a toddler, and they began traveling from town to daven and to help support the family, obviously. In the summer of 1933, Yosel traveled to Yerushalayim HaKodesh to record special Chazunas music. During the trip, he suffered a sudden heart attack and passed away at the age of 51, very young. Thousands of Yidden attended his Levaya, and he was buried on Har HaZaysim. His beautiful melodies, I know, are still a major part of our davening in shuls and everywhere. Really, across the world today. I grew up listening to his music. What an amazing, special person he was. What a special person he was, really. Anyway, Trump has officially asked the United States Senate to make Todd Blanche the next Attorney General. The White House announced the formal nomination on Monday night. Blanche previously worked as the president's personal lawyer. He now faces a tough vote to get the job. Several top Democrats have already told lawmakers to strongly oppose the choice. The Senate will decide on the nomination very soon. Vice President J.D. Vance just referred Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz and its Attorney General Keith Ellison to the Justice Department for a criminal fraud investigation. It follows a new 250-page congressional report that says the two ignored massive fraud for 2 years going back to 2019 before COVID. And the report estimates $300 million was stolen from children's meal programs, with another $9 billion with a B, in Medicaid money lost at serious risk. Walz's office called the committee a joke and said he is glad the fraudsters are going to prison. Trump's plan to charge companies a $100,000 fee for hiring skilled foreign workers was blocked. The fee was meant for H-1B visas, which tech companies used to bring in workers from overseas. Trump started the fee just last September. He argued that the visa program replaces American workers. On Monday, Judge Leo Sorokin, who loves Trump, ruled that the massive fee is actually a tax, and he said presidents do not have the legal power to create a new tax without approval from Congress. The Trump administration says they plan to appeal the judge's decision. A Russian drone struck a residential neighborhood in the Ukrainian city of Zaporizhzhia. It killed 2 people and injured up to 18 others. Local officials say the attack hit a civilian area, and several children are among the wounded. Here is something interesting. Even the secular researchers are now catching up to what the community has always known. A new study out of Penn State found that smartphones are tied to loneliness, poor sleep, and less exercise. They try to soften it by saying it depends on how you use the device, but even one of their own researchers admitted that with his own daughter, the real danger was never the amount of time, it was what the device could put in front of her. The lesson, in their words, is to be very careful and vigilant what these devices give our children access to. We didn't need a study for that one. We have Torah study for that one, right? But I guess they're finding out. They're finding out slowly. Anyway, Protobite. Kosher skinny shot and then Protobite. Let's continue the Protobite. Okay, here we go. I spoke about kosher skinny shot as well already, but I'll tell you again. 845-456-8924, and you can enter to win a free raffle, free month, by calling me on 845-671-1775. Press 5, say kosher skinny shot on Edge with your name and telephone number. And another offer I have is every company that advertises on Edge, every company besides the few that have a very easy time getting in, we will decide if Arrive Express is included, because Arrive Express is a taxi company, given the fact that you could just order a cab every single day and enter. I will put in $1, or we will put in, the team will put in $1 for every call that verifies that actually bought by these companies. We'll give it some time, don't worry, because over the time it will accumulate 1 or 2 months into many amounts of dollars, which will become a big amount of money, and one of you will win it. Yeah, one of you will win it. So, it's a great deal, and it's a great thing. Let's continue. 347-354-1237. Who's that? Guess. Protobite, of course, you can see. Protobite designs software. Instead of you sitting, we just spoke about screen time and AI. Don't bother with that. It's a waste of your energy, a waste of your time. If you're a melamed in a cheder and you need to build a program to help your kids learn the Tama Mikro better, you want to design a program, you can call Protobite. If you are a businessman and you sell apples for a living, some people do that. Yes, apples. You could also call Protobite and 347-354-1237. They may design some sort of software that will help people understand that an apple a day keeps the doctor. To YS Capital Group. Why? Because YS Capital Group designs something very special for you. YS Capital Group is known already to have beaten the industry when it comes to borrowing money. Because when it comes to borrowing money, you have to understand one thing about YS Capital Group, why they are best. Because they're direct lenders. It's not just, usually you go to the bank, the broker has to go to the bank, wait for the bank to approve it. They have the money. So just call them, pick it up. That's it. It's easy, no closing costs and all that. Ask them, 718-831-2168. And then, Arrive Express, 845-622-1111 or 845-254-1111. And also the Click on 848-480-8677, the place for all your information. Now, everyone knows the climax of the Purim story that happens in the winter usually, but the actual turning point happened right here in the middle of the summer yesterday. Yesterday marked the 23rd of Sivan, Chof Gimel Sivan. That is exactly the day Mordechai Tzaddik completely turned around the plot of Haman Yamach Shomai V'Zichroi. The law of Persia, Iran nowadays, would not let anyone cancel an original decree. So, Mordechai Tzaddik issued a powerful counterattack order on this very day. Megillas Esther records the moment exactly as Mordechai Tzaddik ordered it. B'chodesh hashlishi, chodesh Sivan, b'shloisha v'esrim boi, v'ich toiv kechol asher tzivu Mordechai. Yeah? Mordechai. Anyway, and what did the law say? The verse spells out the major change. The King Achashverosh, granted the Yidden the right to assemble, stand up for their rights and their lives, and completely destroy any armed forces coming to kill them. La Yehidim lehikuayel v'lamod al nafsham. Yeah? Lahashlid ilaharoi gela'abadis kol chayal am. And with that decree issued on this very day in history, the royal couriers went out and, yeah, Hudutzim, Tzidvar HaMelech. Yeah, you remember that one? So now, and the fear instantly shifted from the targets to the attackers. And that's for the latest news today, my friends. Just wanted to share this with you. And as well, go sing some Yossel Rosenblatt songs. It's a great song. Avdu is especially a good song, but you can go listen. I'm sure you can find all those online. A great Nigunim the guy composed. Great Nigunim he left with us. What a special Yid he was. Anyway, may his neshama have an aliyah tonight. Light a candle in his name, sing some songs in his name, do something special, obviously, to daven for Rav Chaim Berman Shlita, should have a Refi Shalayma, and Rav Kook as well should have a Refi Shalayma, obviously. We need tefillas, we need yeshivas for Klal Yisrael in general. All the best, Hatzlacha Rabbah. Stay on edge.
Your daily report of the news of the last 24 hours, powered by Yiddish24, provided to you by The Click.